Saturday morning, everybody. Good morning. The 22nd of November. We're moving up, 2025. Weather, beautiful, 59 the high today. We get some rain tomorrow on Sunday, 55. Monday comes back to 58, and on Tuesday it is 41 degrees. Not very often, but when we do, it seems to work. Last Saturday here on 710 KNUS in studio, and he's on his way, Tom Martino co-hosted the show. And we were talking about talk. And I named last Saturday Talking About Talk Part 1, and we had the lineup of Denver's big-name talk show hosts all appearing and talking about what they did for a living, about talking about talk, with the promise that Talking About Talk Part 2, i.e. your turn, to talk about Denver's talk radio scene. And people have been chomping at the bit, been getting email throughout the week. Are you going to be able to say this and say that? And I went to Kelly Michaels, our boss, and I saw him on Wednesday, and I said, Kelly, are you sure that, and he said yes. And so it's a green light, and that means no filters, no sensors, no bumps, no humps, no buttons, no nothing. You can say what you want to say. And I was told by a very reliable source, almost all of Denver's talk show hosts will probably be tuning into the mighty 710 as we go through the hours this morning. So 303-696-1971, obviously the number. Tommy's stuck in traffic. He'll be here in a second. It was great last Saturday when we were talking about Talk Part 1, and Tom came in and sat with me, and we're great friends, go back a long, long way. In fact, yesterday I had a great lunch with Dan Kaplis, and Danny and I sat and we talked about talk. I talked to Joe Williams earlier this week. What did we do? We talked about talk as well. So there is such a jump ball question here. Your thoughts about talk radio. And again, it's fair game, and we can talk about national radio. We can talk about the past if you wish. We can talk about what you think the future bodes. But, I mean, we had Stefan with us last week, the hitman Joe Williams. Brother Jeff came on the show, Mandy Connell, Tommy Martino, of course, who's coming back. The guys came on talking about the 40th Annual Children's Hospital. They're coming back this morning. But then we went through. Patty Calhoun was with us. Jimmy Sangenberger was with us. Our very own Billy Thorpe. And the lines were lit up. So the whole show, I'd like to say this, I'd like to say that. Talking about talk. And again, talk radio is this format that is allegedly to offer discussion about topical and issues that, and it's no longer. I mean, the large part of Denver's talk scene is not a discussion radio format anymore. This one is. You call the magic number 303-696-1971 and you're in. And as you may have noticed, there is a large block, a large radio corporation that no longer takes calls. And people simply send text messages, and as the critics of the text message system have said, how do you know? In other words, how do you know that the on-air person, the word host is interesting, just doesn't make up a text message or just doesn't read something that lets he or herself into where they want to go, or better yet, says exciting and nice and wonderful things about them. And so there is no more, in a large part of Denver's talk radio market, they don't take calls. They don't give listeners names. They oftentimes fall on some kind of another name that everybody gets that name. And so the listeners, the listeners show today, 303-696-1971. And when Martino gets here, I'm sure the gasoline gets thrown on the fire. But Last Saturday we had, I'll tell you what, there was a lot of people listening to that show. And so now it's your turn. What do you think of Denver's talk radio format, or excuse me, not format, talk radio scene? Have things gotten better? Have things gotten worse? Are things the same? Now, what we do know is there's been a declining listenership. I've spent a couple of weeks now working on this, and what's called terrestrial radio. And that means when I go out and get in the truck and I turn on country music, that's coming off the Bird. On my motorcycle, I got the same system. It comes down off the Bird, so at 120 miles an hour, I can hear Waylon Jennings. And so terrestrial radio, AM and FM, by the way, listenership has been in a downward trend, dropping, seriously, percentages. If you go back and weigh and measure 2011 and go back and weigh and measure 2022, there's problems. The advertising shifts, the financial pressures, the impact on music promotion, and up and down the line. So we already have one line. There's one line open. I predicted this is going to happen. And get your thoughts. Tommy will be here. So do we begin on line 2? What do we do here? All right, in a second, he's still clearing calls. And the focus, and again, watching what happened to KOA, KOA traditionally had this wonderful news, half a round table. I worked there. And it had staggering numbers. Caplis and I were talking yesterday at lunch about the numbers that KOA radio once had. They don't have a hundredth of that. It's been taken away. We ready now? All right, who do you like first?
Chris on 2.
All right, we go to Chris on 2. Chris, you're on the radio show talking about talk, and good morning.
Good morning, Pete.
Hey, brother.
Hey, first of all, an excellent topic. I listened last week, and I really enjoyed all of your guests. Joe Williams, for me,
is my guy.
He's on my Mount Rushmore of radio hosts.
Indeed.
Just to give you some background on the radio part, I'm a native. I've listened to AM radio my whole life. I call it AM Jam. So I have grown up with Larry King late at night. I have grown up with Paul Harvey, Rush Limbaugh, you name it, I've listened to them. And, Irv and Joe were a staple for me for many years. You have been as well early in the morning. But I got to tell you, you asked a question, has AM radio in Denver gotten better, worse, or the same? And for me, it's gotten worse, and it's really a combination of two things. First, I think the quality of the radio host these days has gone down. For me, Mike Rosen is the gold standard for local radio in terms of how he did things. You don't have that anymore. His predecessor, she's okay. I've listened to her a few times, but she's not Mike Rosen. And when I think about the staple of radio hosts that have either retired or passed on, the people who are following them are not as good. And it's hard because they can't hold a conversation for long. They yell at their guests. You listen to some of the national folks like Mark Levin. Mm-hmm. All that guy does is yell at people, and it gets old.
Let's just do a couple things together.
Yeah.
Levin is my example of the angry white guy radio show, and what radio turned into, and it had to pay off because of it, and it paid off in ratings and it paid off in fines. Angry white guy followed by angry white guy followed by angry white guy. Rosen, as you point out, Rosen brought conservative talk radio into a market, and then along came Limbaugh behind him. But Mike was first, and a lot of credit is due Mike Rosen that he doesn't get. He changed the face of Denver radio. He truly did. Having said that, the rest of it, I think I find myself in total agreement with you, and I listen.
Well, one of the things about Rosen is that Rosen, as you know, he didn't start out in radio. He started off in finance, And a lot of these guys who started off, Joe Williams is the same. He started off in real estate, started off in
selling
selling
houses.
He wasn't.
He was selling
he
houses.
wasn't a traditional radio host. So
he
had
was a
these
caller.
guys.
He was a caller.
Yeah, these guys were interesting. I mean, I remember Lou from Littleton. I used to listen to him on KOA late at night. Same way. But that's the first thing. The second thing is, and I don't know who's responsible for this, but whoever decided to change radio to interaction via text has really ruined the product.
But it is very protective. When you think about in the general sense of not taking a call, it's incredibly protective. And if you don't think, and I've often said this, as much as people don't like Kyle Clark, do you think Kyle Clark could take calls?
No.
No, I don't either. Do you think Kyle Clark, in the middle of his newscast, when he's going up and down the front end or the back end of some conservative, if he and the voice said, "Kyle, line 2 is Chris," and you wanted a hunk of Kyle Clark, he couldn't do it.
No, but that's again, I don't know who decided to change the format from taking a call to reading a text, but this station isn't the only station that does it. I mean, I listen to a lot of sports talk during the day, and those guys don't take calls either. They just read text.
One thing I'll say about sports talk. Sports talk is the one place where teams work. And team talk radio fails utterly and fails every time. It's almost the notion of liberal talk radio is a kamikaze. But on sports talk radio, for some reason, and I think I know what it is, when you have the zoo, those formats are called zoos, where there's 3 or 4 different voices, and the text caller is a prop. That's all. When somebody says, "Jim, here's fill in the blank who wants to know, why the Cincinnati Bengals are falling on their face," that's the cue. Everybody gangbangs, and they know they have really good producers, and they're telling them, they're tightly produced. They're telling them, here it comes. Vis-a-vis a show like this that I absolutely adore doing, it's a jump ball show. I have no idea. I have no idea what you're going to say.
But Pete, let me give you a compare and contrast really fast before you go to the next call.
No.
And it's using sports talk as an example. I remember vividly as a kid, right after the Broncos would play, if you turned on 850 KOA, you would listen to Sandy Clough and Gridiron Grill.
Yep.
And that guy would go back and forth with callers, and it was entertaining, and I enjoyed every minute of it. You compare and contrast that format.
Well, they're homers.
Well, not just the homer, but it's the text message. You don't get the same back and forth with a text. You don't get any back and forth with a text message.
Sandy, who I love and adore, Sandy was heavily influenced by Alan Berg. He really was. And if you remember that Sandy, sir, did you watch the same game I just watched? Well, that was a take on Berg, and we all worked together for what we call General Electric for KOA, and Sandy was a young Turk, and he had come over. There was Don, and there was Bob, and there was, the traditional, the Phipps owned the team, and they were homers. Along came Sandy, and the other one, who I raised from a pup, was D-Mac. And Darren, Darren's my boy. I mean,
so annoying, but
I know.
Good.
Someday you and I will meet, and I will tell you a D-Mac story. That, I think D-Mac's the best young talent in the city right now.
Well, I got to give. Here's what I will give him credit for, even though I just called him annoying. He started off as a rock jock in FM, and he was annoying there, but he definitely was entertaining to listen to because you never knew what he was going to say. But I also have a great deal of respect for radio personalities who can transcend formats. and he did that.
There's a story.
You know.
There is a story, and it's one I can't tell. But if it's just me and you, I'll tell you the story. And it's where, and DMAC and a lot of those young guys, we were all over there at, and I've told the story before when Berg got suspended, and we were working for Joel Day, and it was General Electric owned KOA, and Berg went on a rampage through the building. Come with me, and we ended up in the sales department of the television side, and there was a flow chart, and it started out with electrical engines and locomotives and jet planes and everything that GE was making, and as it flowed down, and it said small household appliances, and then a little line came from household appliances, and it said broadcast properties. And Berg said, "We're less than toaster ovens," And he did a whole thing, and these people were staring at him. But he took off on what KOA radio meant, and KOA radio was a profit-making machine. It really was. And I have a coffee cup that says, I think, 23.7, meaning 23.7. We brought this up the other day. When Rick and Mike, when Lewis and Floorwax were doing their show, and they were really, that was a hot property, what do you think you had to pay for a 60-second commercial on Lewis and Floorwax back in the day?
Probably quite a bit.
All right. What do you think you would have to pay to get the exact same spot on Lewis and Floorwax, or excuse me, on Q1035, the Fox today? How much less?
Probably 10 to 15% less.
Way less than that. Maybe half.
Oh, wow.
Maybe half.
Okay.
So, and that's why they do these stacks where they got 8 commercials in a row. That's a tune-out. I mean, why am I tuning out? Why am I going to give you my 8 60-second spots or 5:30s and 3:60s or whatever it is? Because they're trying to get the dough back, and it's really, when you look at it, and remember this, it's always about the money, always.
No, and I'm sure that it is, but when you ask a very simple question like, is Denver radio better, worse, or the same?
That's one of the reasons.
It used to be. Yeah, that is one of the reasons, but I'm just telling you from the listener experience versus where I'm coming from, it's not the same, and I don't think that it's going to get better. But you did ask a question last week of one of your guests, what's the future of, I think you asked, what's the future of AM radio?
Yeah. It was Martino.
I do.
Was Martino.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. But I think you also asked Tubbs that question too.
Same thing.
And I do think that it's going to survive, and it will survive because it's one of the last. It's one of the last places that a conservative can go.
But remember,
listen to a like-minded thought, because you're not going to see that on TV.
The dawn of radio happened late in the 19th century. I got a break. It's coming. It's coming. Someday we meet, and I'll tell you the DMAC story. It's one of my favorites.
Okay. Take care. Thank you, Pete.
All right, the line is open. Martino's on his way. Now it is your turn to talk about talk. I'm Peter Boyles. This is Radio Free Denver, good old 710 KNUS. we go. See?
Very good, very good.
Smoking in the boys' room. Did you smoke in the boys' room?
This is a good old song. Do you know what I realized when I was driving and I was listening to you? I said, every generation has its old fart generation that they listen to that are on their way out, new ones coming in. And you remember, we were the new guys coming in, talking about all these old guys, and they were on their way out, and we knew how to do it better. Everybody thinks they know how to do it better. But, if you think about it, everything is cyclical. We just keep doing the same crap over and over.
We are the old.
Now we're the old farts. On our way out, new ones coming in.
Are there new ones coming in?
Well, they're coming in, but not the same. I mean, we heard Jimmy talk
Sangenberger
talk about it, and he was talking about promoting his brand. Right nowadays, and I think I was one of, I'm not going to toot my horn, but I was one of the first ones who did a brand. I did a brand. I thought, I'm not going to depend on radio or TV. And what happened was when radio and TV separated, and I found myself working for two masters, I thought to myself, okay, what am I going to do? So I started promoting myself, and that's what Jimmy said he does, and that's what the new guys are doing. So you say, are they coming in? They're coming in, but they're coming in from all angles. All angles.
The voice needs no introduction. My colleague, my partner, Tom Martino, 710 KNUS Denver's talk station, talking about talk. 59 will be the high today, and tomorrow 55. Let's just go back to the phones.
Yeah.
Let's go to, where were we? We'll go to Sandy in Loveland. Sandy, you're with Tom and Peter talking about talk. And good morning. Sandy, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Peter and Tom.
Hey.
I love these talk about the talk. Great subject. I'm calling because today is the 63rd anniversary of JFK's assassination.
Right. Oh,
that's right.
You're right.
And the second is Oliver Stone, and his son Sean Stone has a new documentary called RFK. I watched it last night.
Do you remember that question everyone asked, where were you?
Where were you?
I was in class at St. Patrick's Catholic School, I think, third or fourth grade, whatever it was, and an announcement came over the PA system, and then we all got off our desk and knelt down for prayer, And where were you? Or were you born yet? Where were you?
I was a year and a half old.
Okay,
but
so
just the same, it still affects me. I watched that stuff. I couldn't go to sleep last night because I watched it too late. That stuff disturbs me, and I thought, what a message to the establishment to bring RFK documentary during on the anniversary date of JFK.
That was a media event as well.
It was one of the first times we've heard about conspiracies. That's when
much comes later. It isn't.
But it was about the assassination. We talked about it.
But along came a guy named Mark Lane, who I eventually met. And Mark Lane did a book called Rush to Judgment. But it was only, Lane's book appeared maybe 18 months after the Warren Commission. And I met him because he was involved with Jim Jones in Jonestown. And he had come to Denver, and I had read Rush to Judgment. And he was the first guy to take the Warren Commission apart. But it sets the stage for everything, including what we became.
What you saw is not necessarily what happened, and he brought that to light. That's what I meant. That was the first historical thing where we started actually questioning what we saw and heard.
I just had a column appear this week, and I'm going to stay on talk radio, but we can certainly drift into the Kennedys. Most, or at least historians, these new historians that I admire, they believe that the 60s do not begin until John Kennedy is assassinated. They do not begin, rather. The 60s don't end until Richard Nixon resigns. That's the 60s, although it's 74 and 63.
Right.
But that's the 60s. And so what I think what we're watching or what we're living through is the arrival of so many different inputs. And, you know, I remember we were raised by the World War II generation that believed the government.
No, everything, right.
Everything.
We took, and we believed the news. I mean, if you heard Walter Cronkite say it. Or Huntley and Brinkley, it was for real.
It was gospel.
You didn't question it.
No.
And you never questioned where he was in his political views. Nobody cared because they didn't express them.
The late David Halberstam, in a book called The Powers That Be, and he talks about this moment that Cronkite stands up about Vietnam and walks over to the chart and shows the death toll. And Lyndon Johnson, who had 3 TVs because they didn't have the fast clicks. And he had 3 television sets in the Oval Office. And he said, "We've lost America because I've just lost Walter Cronkite." And that's how powerful Walter Cronkite was. I appreciate. Sandy, thank you for a very good call. Talking about talk. Fred in Longmont, Martino and Boyles together again. Thank you.
Good morning, Peter. Good morning, Tom.
Hey.
I've got 4 points, and I'll give you the Cliff Notes version so I keep it brief. Number one, I listen to talk radio primarily because I want to know what's going on locally. Now, I'll use KNUS as an example. You used to have programming on Saturday with live people like right now you and then John. But you used to have other people on Saturday and as well as Sunday, and then, of course, in the afternoon. That doesn't go on hardly at all. So now I actually listen to 2 other stations, one in Denver, but one also out of Cheyenne, Wyoming, because I want to kind of get a local perspective. You know, I don't care what Sean Hannity and all these other guys say. I can turn on, other formats to get that. That's number one.
That's
number
a good.
2,
by the way, that's a good point. Alan Berg told me that. He said local talk radio, is like people in their backyards or on their porches talking over the fence.
It was a bar. Yeah, it was a bar room.
Exactly, and that's why, Peter, I followed you from station to station.
You're kind.
Because I enjoy how you do things in general and your format. And of course, Tom, I've listened to you as well.
Thank you.
But the second point, because like I said, I want to be brief so other people can call, and that goes to my second point. People, or the host will say, "Oh, please call in," give you the number innumerable number of times, and then you end up waiting on hold for it seems like one day short of eternity, and then when you get on, you make one quick comment, and then the host dominates the rest of the conversation. So there's no real conversation. So I think the host ought to, if you tell somebody to call in, let the people talk.
One of the things that I've learned, and maybe I've learned it with age, is to hold people through breaks, let people speak. I got some ridiculous email already, text message, that I'm blocking people because I'm afraid of letting them talk. I take pride in letting people talk.
In fact, the more they disagree, the better it is.
Well,
it is.
We always would play to, and this was back in the day when we were making our bones, if you had a good producer, he or she would tell you, line 3 hates your guts. You took line 3.
Yep, that's right.
If they said line 1 loves you and line 2 is your kid calling up, wants school lunch money, but line 3 hates you, you took line 3 if you were, and now they don't do it. Now it's a text message, and you assume they're reading it, but they could not be.
Well, it's back to my point. When people are encouraged to call, and then as I said, you seem to be on hold forever. But when you do talk to somebody, and Peter, and I will say, in all honesty, you and Tom, and a couple of other people are pretty good at this, but some of these guys, they dominate the conversation. So why waste your time?
But they can't. I've found there's a breed that can't go to an intellectual level and gets their ass kicked.
I understand. Well, let me get to number 3. So like I said, I don't want to hold up too long. Number 3, and I think this is one of my big burrs, too darn many commercials. I really believe that talk radio, the talk portion is only an interlude to all the commercials.
Well, they have to pay.
Peter, I understand. I'm not naive to those facts.
No. I'm not making it that way. What I'm saying to you is, when the agreements came down from the FCC that you could hold 8 stations in a market, and we were never allowed to do that. It was 1, and when it was 8, they paid what was it, the tremendous amount of money the KBCO sold for?
No, I know it. I forget.
It was staggering, and they had to pay off that. The same thing was true with 103.5 The Fox. They had to pay off, and the only way they could do it was called shrink to profit. So they start firing people. We lived it. They fired people left and right. But your point, Fred, is that's why you get the 8-minute spot break.
And that's partially why I also will turn to other stations.
Sure.
To fill in that time frame. I mean, I've heard all these commercials so many times I could probably recite them by heart.
Agreed.
But, back to where I'm going, I understand, Peter, the finance side. I come from a banking background, so I'm not naive to money. But the point I'm saying is it just gets interminable, and then it's like one commercial after the next.
Yep.
I swear some days I could go out and wash and wax my car.
Yep.
In that period of time.
I agree.
And then the last one, and this is just a personal thing for me. When Joe Williams is on, I wish you'd let us call once in a while because I love Joe.
Well, it's up to Joe.
Well, I know, but I used to talk to him and Irv, and they were two of the greatest guys to talk to. And they were good conversationalists, but they were also good listeners.
Well, Joe, I mean, I want him to come on and talk about what's happening at CU because he's got these theories at CU that I'm sure are true about why the athletic director quit and, what's going to happen next and who's holding the bag. I didn't realize that CU still owes Coach Prime $10 million, Tom.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yes. Joe Williams. My source is Joe Williams. So,
well, I liked the time when you had Sandy Clough and Joe on, and they were both talking about CU. I thought that was just a marvelous conversation. But those are my points. I don't want to drag it on.
No, you're right on the money. Sandy Clough was a student of Alan Berg's, and people, when you finally saw Sandy with the wind in his sails, when he would do that, sir,
I know,
and he did that rip, that was straight out of the Berg handbook, and they were friends. We were all working together in the building. That's where I met Tommy, and that's where I met Kaplis in that building.
Yeah,
and those guys came in, and you came up from Florida.
Yeah.
This is a great call, Fred. It's really meaningful, and it's truthful.
Yeah, and he's right about
as
dominating.
I said, I enjoy you guys,
Thank
but
you.
I'd like to see some of my comments be taken to management, I guess.
No, he's right about a lot of talk show hosts. They cry for calls, and then they don't necessarily let the caller talk.
You can tell. I mean, from being on this side of the microphone for too many years, you just know. You know what's going on in the room.
I love callers. I love stories. I just love them. I mean, to me, that's what talk radio means. This new era of talk radio where
like
people pontificate. They're literally, they get on and do soliloquies. I mean, they're just, the entire show is just a solo. I don't like it, personally.
Very good call.
I appreciate you guys taking my call, and both have a great day.
Thanks, Fred. How are we on time? We good, bad? 2 minutes? 2 minutes gives us Mary in Wyoming. You're with Tom and Peter. Good afternoon. Pardon me. Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning to both of you. I have been your listener from the very beginning. I was listening to Hal and Charlie, and then all of a sudden one day, there you were. I am Peter Boyles, the new gun.
Well, there's another story to that too, but
oh man, behind the scenes, where Peter and I they paired us up again. Yeah.
And Charlie was separate from Hal. Don't confuse the two.
Totally different.
Yeah.
I got to tell this story about it because there was a GM, general manager, and I was saying, we got to bring, Peter. Remember what his biggest criticism of you was? You don't remember this? Do you know? He said you read too many books. Don't you remember?
I do. I know who the guy is.
He said Peter reads too many books, and I thought, what?
Yeah, I remember that.
That was so fun.
And that came to me on the back door. They said, "Hey, that guy said that." I went, "All right, yeah,
And
yeah."
I was going to say, I remember you started. To me, that was the first time I heard talk radio.
Wow.
And one of the first callers that I remember was Anita, and she was black.
Huh.
And she was having incredible conversations between you and her, and she was smart. And it gave me the courage to become Mary from Denver.
Wow. Fair enough.
And then we had a lot of interfaces. I don't know if you remember, there was a time where you were not into guns. And we differed that on our conversation.
And that's true too. You're right. You're right.
And there was a time
and I'll tell you what, when that was in the aftermath of Alan's murder.
Right.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
And then also we clashed on
Mary, I got to do it to you. I'm sorry, with apologies.
Your KNUS forecast for the Denver metro area calls for a beautiful Saturday and a beautiful start to the weekend as we'll see sunshine, highs lower 60s, dry conditions, low to mid 30s tonight. Pacific weather system to our south cuts northeastward Sunday to Monday. This will bring increasing cloud cover tonight into tomorrow. We'll also see some areas of light rain showers Sunday afternoon, night, and Monday morning. Highs for tomorrow, low 50s, lows low to mid 30s.
I'm meteorologist Mark Huer on 710 KNUS.
Dean. Wow. 710 KNUS on a Saturday morning. Tom Martino, Peter Boyles, talking about talk. Lines are jammed, been jammed since we fired it at 9 o'clock. Real quick, talk about our friends at Water Pros, and Water Pros cares about the quality of your water. You like water?
Paul's my man.
He's my guy.
He's
man.
one of my main sponsors. I mean, the water systems he's doing now. $21.95 is a whole house filter.
That's it.
That's what you're doing. Yeah. And then the whole house softening. I mean, 40.
Sell it.
No, I'm telling you.
No.
Hey, let me say this, and this is the God's honest truth. We worry about supplements.
Yep.
We worry about food.
Yep.
We worry about organic crap.
Yep.
But no one worries about the freaking water, which is bathing their body and their drinking. No, he does it. I think. No,
who's better than you? Nobody.
The reason because I really love it. I mean,
no, there's a great product.
And the reverse osmosis drinking water. All I can say is this. You to touch what he does, plumbers and other places start at $15,000.
I'll tell you what, he comes to your house, and you know this, and they give you a free in-home water test.
Yeah.
And
it's an honest one.
Indeed, and answers all your questions, concerns, and these guys, if Martino likes them,
he's for real, man.
No, for real. I know.
He knows his stuff.
Water Pro, He'll have to pay extra for this spot. Water Pros, family-owned, veteran-owned business dedicated to providing you with the best water treatment, far less than, as Tommy pointed out, the other guys.
Oh, yeah.
Go to Water Pros today. Get your free water test, 303-862. There you go.
5554. Did I remember that?
Say it again.
303-862-5554. See,
you got
Peter,
it.
you know what we talked about that last week.
Oh.
We really know our sponsors. That's one thing that's going away.
Selling time.
That's going away.
Yeah.
But remember we would go to lunch with our sponsors.
Come home.
We go and learn about them.
No, you won on the job.
And we maintain a friendship.
Yeah, they won on the job with a guy. 303-8620,
862
5554, 5554, 303-862-5554. The Peter Boyles Special. Tom Martino, Peter Boyles.
Hey, it's a Martino special.
It is. Give him a plug. Write it down.
It's whatever it is.
Yeah, give it.
It's whoever's doing it.
We got Dave. Dave in Centennial. You're with Tom and Peter. Good morning. Thank you.
And good morning. I'm going to assume I'm on. Mike Rosen used to always say, "Tell me where you sit before you tell me where you stand." So a little background on me. I'm 78 years old. I'm a boomer. I am a John Kennedy, Harry Truman Democrat, and a Ronald Reagan and Dwight Eisenhower Republican.
Whoa.
I spent 22 years in the Army. I retired as a master sergeant. I joined in 1968 when it wasn't popular. I retired here in Denver in 1990. I'm a small L libertarian, but I vote conservative because it's as close as I can get to them.
There you go.
Peter,
Yo.
I have a complaint about you.
Yo.
I'm the guy who, okay, and here's my complaint. Quit telling us what books you read. You're driving me crazy. I finished about a month and a half ago, I finished G-Man. I thought my head was going to explode. There's a reason that book won the Pulitzer Prize.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Now I'm almost done reading Chaos. My head did explode.
Yes.
Too much information.
I was telling yes.
Oh my goodness.
I'll tell you what I won't tell you what I'm reading, but I should. I'm reading a book.
Don't.
I'm reading a book entitled Reds, and it's a history of the Communist Party in America.
You know, you are a walking encyclopedia.
No,
you really are, Peter.
It's a gift.
You really do inform yourself more than any talk show host I've ever known. Ever.
You read too many books.
And no, I'm serious, man. You like, and when you really get into the weeds with people, you put them to shame.
Well, to Dave, I'm reading Reds. I'm reading the Devil Reaches to the Sky, and it's a series of vignettes and library drops from the people who created the atomic bomb. Wow. And it's read that.
I'm going to.
And I'm reading 1929. the year of the Great American Depression.
People don't read anymore, Peter. They don't read.
I am going to read my next book. I'm going to read. I read decades ago, Guns of August, because my brain needs a
Barbara Tuchman.
Yeah,
Barbara Tuchman.
Yeah, my brain needs a relaxation.
And that
third point.
All right.
Third point. Since today's the 63rd, and I was a junior in high school when Kennedy was assassinated. Third point is 2 questions I have, because I know you love, you're kind of a mystic on the assassination. Why did I know why Lincoln was assassinated. I know why McKinley was assassinated. I know why, but why? Yeah. What purpose did Lee Harvey Oswald have in assassinating John Kennedy?
That's a good question,
Kennedy?
Peter. What do you think, Peter? I love that.
Well,
and hold on, Tom. My turn. Hang on. And the next question I have is, how in the hell can one guy with a $12 rifle be that accurate in that short of a period of time?
There's this new theory out from these people are they know weapons, and I don't pretend to know weapons. Oswald could have purchased almost any rifle that he wanted, literally on the street in Dallas, because when it's the Mann-Lichter Carcano was the rifle that he allegedly shot Jack Kennedy with. He paid $13 for it.
Really?
That was the last of the mail order. They cracked down on it. Was a mail order rifle, and he could have bought a Winchester or Remington. He could have bought a Weatherby.
Was that gun known for accuracy?
No, it was entitled the Italian Army. They called it a name.
It was a terrible rifle.
Absolutely right. He's right. And the Italian military had a name for it, like the War Stopper or something. Like you couldn't kill another guy with it. And he, of all people, he sends away for it. He bought it, and he was a bad shot. And when he was in the Marine Corps, what's the lowest marksman or something?
Marksman. Yeah.
And he couldn't hit with what, and yet there he is.
But he brings up a good question. Why? Why?
If he was the stooge that people think he was. On the other hand...
But who wanted John Kennedy dead, and why?
The CIA and organized crime.
Yeah, but why did Lee Harvey Oswald? Was it because Maria or Marina or whatever her name was thought he was cute and he was jealous or something?
No,
the heck?
They're working
did this one guy have?
He's working when he defects. He's working in a radio factory, and I think he's in Kiev, and he meets her. And her uncle was a very high-ranking member of KGB, so they always thought that was an arrangement. He also was domestically violent to her, but how quickly this guy's a Marine, he throws away his citizenship, gets to go to Kiev. He's in Kiev about 1.5 years, 2 years, and then says, "I want to go home." The KGB lets him go home, and the American CIA welcomes him home. They would have never done that. He's
the Manchurian Candidate.
The Queen of Hearts. He truly is. But I mentioned meeting, and it was out of the clear blue because Jonestown had happened, and the American, he was a colonel, but he ran Southcom. And he went to Jonestown, and it was one of the more, and again, talk radio, you get to have these moments. And he said they went up there, and they had SF guys, and they went up that river in Guyana. And he said they found a D9 Caterpillar up there. And he said, to this day, I don't know how the hell the Jones people got the Caterpillar up there. And he said, "Oh, don't, can you hold that? No. Hold on, I'm going to put you on hold. Hold on. Put him on hold, put Tom on hold, put me on hold. We'll come right back."